My daughter posted a TikTok. Rating my parents. Stepdad 10 out of 10. Bio dad 1 out of 10. Some men don't deserve to be fathers. It hit 30,000 views. I left a thumbs up. That week, I repossessed her car, liquidated her college fund, and everyone found out her stepdad was living off my child support. Hey, Reddit. This is the story of how my bratty daughter thought she could humiliate me and still keep me as her safety net. Well, she miscalculated, and it ended up costing her a lot more than she expected. Here's what went down. I, 44 male, work as a quality control supervisor at a manufacturing plant, making decent money, around $90,000. And I've been divorced from my ex-wife Karen for 6 years now. Yeah, her name is actually Karen. And yes, she lives up to every stereotype you're imagining. Let me paint you a picture of how I got here. Straight out of high school, I started working factory floors. Hot, dirty, back-breaking work that most people wouldn't last a week doing. Spent my 20s pulling double shifts, going to night school for my engineering degree, sleeping 4 hours a night so I could build something better for my family. Worked my way up from the production line to floor supervisor to where I am now, overseeing quality standards for automotive parts. It's not glamorous, but it pays the bills and then some. When my daughter Allison was little, she used to light up when I'd come home from work. I'd walk through that door covered in machine oil and metal shavings, and she'd run straight into my arms yelling, "Daddy's home!" She'd sit on my lap while I ate dinner, asking about my day, wanting to know everything about the big machines at work. On weekends, I'd take her to the shop with me sometimes when I had to check on things. She'd wear my old safety goggles that were way too big for her head and pretend to inspect parts with me. Those were the good days. Karen and I split when Allison was 11. The divorce was ugly as hell. Karen tried to take me for everything, claiming she deserved half my 401k because she supported my career by, I don't know, existing. She got the house. I got stuck with $850 monthly child support, plus I cover Allison's car insurance, phone bill, and pretty much everything else. Here's the thing about those early years after the divorce. Allison still chose me. Every weekend, she'd pack her little bag and couldn't wait to come to my apartment. We'd build blanket forts, have pancake breakfast competitions, watch movies until way past her bedtime. She'd help me cook dinner, even though help mostly meant making a mess and stealing ingredients. When she got older, she'd bring homework to my place because she said I explained math better than her mom. But somewhere around age 14, things started shifting. The weekend visits became shorter. She'd spend more time on her phone, less time talking to me. Instead of our usual movie nights, she'd want to go back to her mom's early because Madison was having a sleepover, or there was this party. I told myself it was normal teenage stuff. Kids naturally gravitate toward the parent with the bigger house, the better neighborhood, the social connections. Here's the thing about Karen. She's always been obsessed with appearances. Designer handbags, expensive cars she can't afford, constantly posting on Facebook about her amazing life. When she remarried this guy Brad 3 years ago, it was like she won the lottery in her mind. Brad works in sales, drives a BMW he's probably upside down on, and they moved into this McMansion rental. Now here's where Brad becomes a problem. This guy's a classic narcissist who saw Karen's kid as competition for attention. From day one, he's been playing this game where he tries to be the cool dad while subtly undermining me. He'll drop comments to Allison like, "Your dad seems stressed about money lately," or, "If it was up to me, you'd have everything you want." All passive-aggressive bullshit designed to make me look like the bad guy. The worst part? He would pull Allison aside during family events and feed her this garbage about how real men handle money. He'd tell her stories about his successful friends who never make their kids worry about expenses. Meanwhile, I'm over here tracking every penny because I actually understand what things cost and what happens when you live beyond your means. What I found out later is that Brad's been living on borrowed time financially. His sales job is commission-only selling luxury pools, and after the 2023 economic downturn, rich people stopped building backyard water parks. He went from making $120,000 a year to maybe $30,000 if he's lucky. The BMW, lease that's 3 months behind. The McMansion, they're subletting it from someone who couldn't afford the rent themselves, and Brad's been covering the shortfall with credit cards. But he's too proud to admit he's broke, so he keeps up this facade of being the successful provider while Karen's income and my child support money actually fund their lifestyle. And he's been poisoning Allison against me the whole time. Allison, who's 17 now, moved in with them full-time when she turned 15. That was the day my heart broke, if I'm being honest. She sat me down at Applebee's, freaking Applebee's, like our relationship was worth a casual dinner. and told me she wanted to live with her mom and Brad full-time. Said it would be easier for school, and she could focus on cheerleading better. But I saw right through it. Karen's house had the pool, the game room, the neighborhood where all her friends lived. My two-bedroom apartment suddenly felt like consolation prize territory. The kid who used to beg me to teach her how to change oil in the garage was now too good for weekends with her old man. I get her every other weekend now, though she usually has some excuse. Cheerleading practice, shopping with friends, or just flat out, I don't want to come over, Dad. Each cancellation felt like another nail in the coffin of what we used to have. But here's what Allison doesn't know. I've been putting away $300 a month into a college fund for her since she was born. 17 years of skipping dinners out, driving the same beat-up truck for 8 years, living in that cramped apartment instead of getting a nicer place. Every month, without fail, even when work was slow and overtime got cut. Every birthday, every Christmas bonus, every tax refund, straight into that account. Nearly $90,000 sitting there now, waiting for her future. I also bought her a 2020 Honda CR-V last year for her 16th birthday. $18,500 that I saved for by working every piece of overtime I could get my hands on. Spent 6 months eating bologna sandwiches for lunch and skipping my usual Friday drinks with the guys. Her phone, on my family plan, $40 a month. Car insurance, $180 monthly because teenage girls are apparently crash magnets. I also send Karen an extra $200 to $300 every month on top of the required $850 child support for Allison's expenses, clothes, activities, whatever. Because despite Karen's entitled attitude, I want my daughter to have nice things. Even if it means I'm still driving a 2015 F-150 while Allison posts Instagram stories from the passenger seat of luxury cars I'll never afford. My brother Mike keeps telling me I'm too generous, that I should let Karen and Brad figure their own shit out. But Allison's my only kid, you know? For years, I told myself that all those sacrifices would mean something. That one day she'd realize her dad worked his ass off to give her opportunities I never had. That she'd appreciate the man who chose overtime shifts over sleep, who chose her future over his own comfort. Boy, was I wrong. I should have seen the warning signs. Looking back, there were 3 incidents over the past year that showed me exactly what Allison was turning into, but I ignored them because I'm an idiot who thought being a good father meant I could buy my daughter's respect. The restaurant meltdown, 8 months ago. I took Allison to dinner at this nice steakhouse. Not cheap, probably $120 for both of us. She orders the most expensive thing, obviously, plus appetizer and dessert. Fine, whatever. It's my weekend with her. Then she starts taking pictures of her food for Instagram, posing with her drink, the whole social media circus. When the food comes, she takes 3 bites and says she's full. I tell her to take it to go since I just spent $45 on her meal. She goes off about how Brad would never make her feel bad about wasting food, how he says money isn't everything, and that I'm too uptight about expenses. God, Dad, why do you have to be so negative about everything? Not everything's about money. Brad would never make me feel guilty about, Allison, take the food home or pay for it yourself. And next time, ask Brad to foot the bill for your Instagram photo shoots. She huffed and puffed but took the leftovers. What really pissed me off was finding out later that Brad had been coaching her on this shit. He'd tell Allison that controlling men use money as a weapon, and that she should never let me make her feel guilty about normal teenage stuff. The asshole was literally teaching my daughter to disrespect me while I paid for everything. The shopping tantrum, 4 months ago. Allison texts me saying she needs emergency money for a school event, some winter formal thing. I sent Karen $300 for a dress. A week later, Allison posts Instagram photos from the dance wearing what's clearly a $500+ designer dress. When I ask Karen about it, she says Allison found the dress on sale, but needed extra for shoes and accessories. Whatever, I let it slide. But then Allison calls me the next week crying about how she has to return the dress because Karen can't afford to keep it. But Brad told her if it was up to him, she could keep it, and that I'm being controlling with money. Dad, all my friends get to keep their formal dresses. Then all your friends can get jobs and buy their own dresses. Brad said you'd say something like that. He said you use money to control people. If Brad's got opinions about my money, maybe he should try earning some of his own. She hung up on me. The car ultimatum. 6 weeks before the TikTok disaster. Allison calls me on a Sunday morning, crying about how she can't drive the Honda anymore because all her friends drive BMWs and Teslas and Mercedes. She looks like a loser pulling up to school in a Honda. I'm silent for a good 10 seconds, trying to process this bullshit. This is a 2020 Honda with 18,000 miles. an $18,500 car that I bought outright. But she's going on about how Madison's parents got her a BMW 3 Series, and Qley drives a Tesla Model 3. Even Alyssa has a Mercedes C-Class. Dad, Brad said he'd co-sign for something better if you weren't so controlling. Tell Brad when he starts making car payments, he gets a vote in car purchases. You don't understand how embarrassing this is for me. You want a BMW? Get a job and buy one yourself. I hear they're hiring at McDonald's. She didn't like that. 2 weeks later, Karen called asking if I'd consider upgrading Allison's car to something more appropriate. When I asked where this was coming from, she admitted Brad had been pushing the idea. She's almost 18. She deserves something nicer. Brad's welcome to buy her a BMW anytime he wants. Oh wait, does he know what those cost? You know Brad's not her father. He shouldn't have to. Exactly. So stop asking me to fund your husband's promises. That was the last time Allison and I talked before the TikTok video dropped. It was a Tuesday. I'm at home after a particularly shitty day at work. Our main server crashed, and I spent 12 hours fixing it. I'm on my couch with a drink, scrolling through my phone to decompress, when my buddy from work sends me a link. Dude, isn't this your kid? It's a TikTok video titled, Rating My Parents, Stepdad 10 out of 10, Bio Dad 1 out of 10, with about 25,000 views and climbing. My stomach drops. I click play and watch my daughter, standing in what I recognize as the McMansion's kitchen, explaining to her followers why Brad is basically God's gift to fatherhood and why I'm a complete failure as a human being. According to Princess Allison, Brad buys her literally everything she wants. Brad takes her to amazing places and actually cares about her interests. Brad comes to her cheer competitions and supports her dreams. Brad understands her and treats her like an adult. Meanwhile, I'm apparently the deadbeat dad who only sees her twice a month, never buys her anything good, doesn't understand her generation, and is basically just a loser who complains about everything. She actually said I'm broke and bitter, and that she's so grateful. Brad stepped up where her real dad failed. But here's the part that really got me. She said Brad told her that some men just aren't cut out to be fathers, and that she was lucky to have found a real role model who shows her what success looks like. The kicker? She's wearing a $200 Lululemon outfit that I bought her last month, recording on an iPhone 13 that's on my phone plan, standing in front of Brad's BMW in the driveway. The comments were brutal. Kids from her school calling me a deadbeat, saying Allison was so lucky to have Brad, suggesting I should just disappear since Brad was clearly the better father. Multiple comments about how some men just aren't meant to be dads. One comment with 500 likes said, "Your bio dad sounds like a loser who can't handle being replaced by a real man." I sat there for probably 10 minutes, watching the view count climb. The video was spreading through her school like wildfire. Kids sharing it in group chats, parents seeing it, teachers probably catching wind of it. Then I did something that felt perfect in the moment. I commented, "Interesting perspective, sweetheart. Glad Brad's taking such good care of you with all that sales money. By the way, who's the Honda registered to again?" Then, thumbs up emoji. That comment got 800 likes in hours. Several parents from her school say it. People started asking questions. Wait, the bio dad found this? This is awkward. Sir, would you like to share your side? Wednesday morning at 6:47 a.m., my phone starts buzzing. Allison calling from school, asking about my comment and saying people are asking her weird questions. Dad, why did you comment on my video? People are being weird about it. Just agreeing with your assessment. Brad sounds like an amazing provider. It was just a funny video for my followers. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Hurt my feelings? I'm proud of you for finally being honest about our relationship. Transparency is important in family dynamics. She tried to backtrack, but the damage was done. Kids at school were asking uncomfortable questions about who actually paid for what. I hung up and called in sick to work. Time for some research. The guys at work were already texting me support. My work buddy Dave, who sent me the video, had shared it in our group chat, and these blue-collar fathers were pissed. That ungrateful little brat, from Tony, our welder. Kids these days don't know what real work looks like, from Marcus in maintenance. These guys knew what it meant to provide for a family, and they were ready to go to war for me. First stop, my bank's website. Pulled up every payment I've made for Allison over the past year. Child support, car payment, insurance, phone bill, those extra payments to Karen for Allison's expenses. Total, $23,400. Next, I called my financial advisor about Allison's college fund. $89,147 as of yesterday. 17 years of $300 monthly contributions plus investment growth. Since it was a UTMA account, I was the custodian with full legal control until she turned 21. Here's where I made the smartest financial decision of my adult life. I liquidated that entire fund and redistributed the money. $35,000 went straight into my retirement account. Money I should have been saving for myself all these years, instead of funding an ungrateful kid's future. Another $15,000 went towards some much-needed home repairs, new roof, HVAC maintenance, foundation work that I'd been putting off. The remaining $39,000? That bought me a brand new F-150 with all the options I'd never been able to afford. This wasn't emotional spending. This was practical reallocation of resources. I'd been sacrificing my own financial future for someone who publicly called me worthless. Time to invest in myself instead. While I was at it, I called Honda Financial and inquired about the early payoff amount on Allison's car. $12,800. I could pay it off right now and keep the title. Finally, I called my phone provider and checked on Allison's line. Easy enough to transfer her number to a new account, one she'd have to pay for herself. But I wasn't done. I needed to understand what kind of provider Brad really was. I spent the afternoon doing what any smart businessman does: due diligence research using publicly available information. LinkedIn showed Brad's employment history had some interesting gaps. His current pool company listing showed him as a sales associate, not the senior executive he'd been claiming to be. A quick search of public business records showed the pool company had laid off half their sales staff in late 2023. Property records for the McMansion showed it was a rental, not owned. The BMW? A quick VIN search through public records showed it was a lease with Bank of America. And anyone who's leased knows those payments don't come cheap. The best part? I found Brad's Facebook post from 6 months ago asking his network if anyone knew of sales opportunities, because the pool business was challenging. Real successful energy there. Thursday, I took another sick day and drove to my brother Mike's house. Mike's a contractor, divorced, no kids, and he's always thought I let Karen and Allison walk all over me. He was more than happy to help with what I was planning. We spent the morning going through my financial records like forensic accountants. Every receipt, every bank statement, every credit card charge related to Allison. That Honda CR-V, $18,500, paid in full. Her iPhone 13, $35 a month plus the $800 upfront cost. Her car insurance, $180 monthly. Her college savings, nearly $90,000 over 17 years. Those designer clothes, $2,400 in extra payments just in the last 6 months. Even her cheerleading expenses, $1,800 this year alone. Mike helped me create a spreadsheet. Total amount I'd spent on Allison in the past 12 months, $31,200. That's not counting the college fund contributions. You've been supporting 2 households, Mike said, looking at the numbers. This Brad asshole's been living off your kid's child support while taking credit for everything. That's when it hit me. Brad's been taking credit for a lifestyle that I've been funding while Allison calls me a deadbeat on the internet. Thursday evening, I called Allison and told her I'd been thinking about her video. She tried to get me to forget about it, saying some kids at school were being weird about it and asking questions. I explained that since Brad's such an amazing provider, he should get full credit for everything he does for her. Starting with that car he bought her, since it was Brad's gift, I should probably take back the one I bought. Dad, you bought my car? Allison, who do you think bought your car? But Brad said he helped with most of it. Brad said what exactly? Did he help by watching me write the check? More silence. I could practically hear her brain trying to process this. I told her I was coming by Saturday to get my car back. Brad could replace it with one he buys himself. You can't just take my car. It's my car, Allison. My name on the title, my money that bought it. Brad can buy you a Tesla if he's feeling generous. This is insane. How am I supposed to get to school? Brad can buy you a new one with all that success money. Friday morning, Karen called me absolutely furious. The usual screaming about abandoning my daughter, being petty, ruining Allison's senior year. You can't just destroy her life because you're upset about some stupid video. Where's Brad getting the money to replace an $18,500 car? Gonna dip into that pool sales commission fund? That's not the point. She's your daughter. And she just told her entire school that Brad provides everything. Time for him to back that up. I let her rant for 3 minutes before asking where Brad was getting the money to replace the car. Silence. Karen admits Brad's having a rough quarter at work. I tell her that when she says he provides everything, she means he provides nothing. Then I drop the bomb about her college savings. The 90 grand I liquidated this week, Went into my retirement and some home improvements I've been putting off. Oh, and a new truck. You did what? Are you deaf? Karen starts crying angry tears, saying I can't do that. It's Allison's money. How could you destroy her future like this? Her future? Your daughter just told her school I'm a worthless father while wearing clothes I bought. You're being vindictive and cruel. Vindictive? I'm just letting Brad play father. Isn't that what he wants? Then Karen confirms what I already knew. Brad had predicted I'd do something like this because I can't handle not being needed anymore. He told her I use money to control people and would hurt Allison financially when I felt threatened. I mentioned seeing Brad's LinkedIn showing employment gaps and public records showing their rental situation. That shut her up real quick. How do you know that? Because unlike Brad, I actually do my research before making financial decisions. Wild concept, I know. Saturday morning, Mike came with me to collect the car. We pulled up to the McMansion in his pickup with a car trailer. Allison came out looking like someone had just told her Santa wasn't real. Brad was there too, trying to look intimidating in his golf shirt and khakis. This skinny sales guy attempting to alpha male me. It was almost cute. Allison begged me not to take her car. Brad stepped forward saying this was between me and Allison, not to punish her because I'm upset about some video. Look, I'm not Allison's biological father. I shouldn't have to. But you told her you'd buy her a BMW if it wasn't for me being controlling, right? Well, here's your shot, champ. No Honda in the way now. This isn't about money. Oh, it's definitely about money, Brad. The money I earn versus the money you pretend to have. Speaking of which, how's that pool business treating you these days? Brad's face went white. Allison looked confused, asking where she's supposed to get to school, work, cheer practice. I told her that's Brad's problem to figure out. This is insane. You can't just destroy a kid's life because you're jealous. Jealous of what, Brad? Your sales associate position? Your rental house? The BMW that got repoed last month? Yeah, public records are fun. I don't know what you think you know. I know you've been playing pretend provider with my money while teaching my daughter I'm worthless. Game over, sales boy. Brad's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Allison was staring at him, waiting for him to deny it. He couldn't. I loaded her car onto the trailer while she recorded me with her phone, posting Instagram stories about her toxic dad taking her car because of a harmless video. But here's the thing. Allison had been posting about her car for over a year, always thanking Brad for spoiling her and being the best stepdad ever. Her followers knew Brad supposedly bought everything. By Saturday evening, kids from Allison's school were asking questions in the comments. If Brad bought the car, why could Biodad just take it? Where was Brad to stop this? Why didn't Brad have the title? Sunday morning, one of Allison's classmates, a kid whose mom works at the bank where Karen has her accounts, started connecting dots. Posted a comment about how the BMW in Allison's videos was actually a lease. How the McMansion was a rental, not owned, but the real damage came from the parents. Several moms from Allison's cheer squad had seen both the original video and my comment. These women talk, PTA meetings, sideline conversations at games, group texts about carpools. Word spread fast through the parent network about Allison's video and what it revealed about their family dynamics. Monday at school was rough for Allison. Kids weren't cruel, but they were asking uncomfortable questions she couldn't answer. Teachers had obviously heard about the video. The cheer coach called her in for a conversation about appropriate social media representation. Her phone was buzzing constantly Sunday night. Some parents from Allison's school reached out. Apparently their kids had told them about the drama, and they wanted to say they thought what Allison did was wrong. A few of my coworkers who'd seen the video were buying me drinks and calling Allison an ungrateful brat. Even better, some of the dads at work shared similar stories about their own kids being turned against them by step-parents who contributed nothing but acted like heroes. Monday evening, she called me sobbing about how bad things were at school. Everyone was asking about the car and the money and Brad being broke. Some kids were calling her spoiled and fake. She begged me to fix it. She'd take down the video, post an apology, tell everyone I'm a good dad. Maybe I exaggerated some things. Exaggerated? You called me a deadbeat while wearing clothes I bought you. I know, but can't we just fix this? I'll do whatever you want. When she asked about getting her car back and the college fund, I went nuclear. I told her she wants her car back. She wants that money. She's going to make another video, same platform, same audience. But this time, tell the truth about who actually pays for her life. She said it was humiliating, that everyone would think she's a spoiled brat. I told her everyone already thinks that. The question is whether she wants to fix it or lose everything I've ever given her. Then I delivered the final blow. That college fund is gone. Should have thought about your future before you decided I was worthless. Actions meet consequences. She hung up crying. Week 1. The Apology Tour. Tuesday night, Allison posted the follow-up video. The truth about my dad and my lies. She explained that her bio dad pays substantial child support, bought her car outright, pays her phone bill, covers her insurance, and had been saving for her college education for 17 years. That Brad is a good stepdad who's struggling with work, but never claimed to be paying for everything. That she lied in the first video to get views and ended up destroying relationships she cared about. Most importantly, she apologized to me. Said I'd been a good father who provides for her even when she doesn't appreciate it. That she was wrong to call me a deadbeat and a failure. The comments on this video were different. A lot of respect for owning up to this, and your dad sounds like a good man. But also plenty of too little too late, and actions have consequences. What Allison didn't know is that several parents from her school had already seen both videos and formed their own opinions. The damage to her reputation was deeper than she realized. Wednesday evening, she called me crying. Dad, can I please have my car back? And maybe we can talk about the college money? Sorry doesn't unfuck this situation, Allison. I know, but I posted the apology video like you wanted. You posted it because you're facing consequences, not because you actually meant it. She was quiet for a long time. Then, what do you want me to do? You want your car back? You're going to get a job and make payments to me. $50 a week until you paid off the remaining $12,800. Miss a payment, lose the car permanently. That's all my money from work. Welcome to the real world, princess. How am I supposed to save anything? Not my problem. Brad's not really around anymore. He says the whole situation is too stressful and he needs space. There it was. When the going got tough, he bailed. Shocking absolutely no one. Weird how your 10-10 stepdad disappeared the moment real responsibility showed up. It's almost like he was full of shit the whole time. But Dad, please. I'm not done. You're also going to spend every weekend with me for the next 6 months. No excuses, no cheerleading, no friends. You want to fix things? Then we'll do it in the right way. She sobbed that it wasn't fair. I told her fair would have been appreciating her father instead of humiliating him for internet points. Week 2. Karen called me Thursday morning, absolutely desperate. Please think about Allison's future. We tried to get a loan for college and got denied. Where's Brad's amazing money? Brad's going through some stuff right now. What kind of stuff? Turns out stuff meant his entire life imploding. Brad's BMW got repossessed Tuesday morning, right out of the McMansion driveway. Neighbors saw everything. The pool company he worked for let him go after a round of layoffs hit their sales team, and the landlord served them an eviction notice for being behind on rent. By Friday, Brad was completely MIA. Karen posted this pathetic Facebook status about going through challenging times and focusing on family. People in the comments were asking where her provider husband went, why she was suddenly posting about financial stress. The best part? Some of Allison's classmates' parents commented on Karen's post, asking if Brad was the same stepdad from the TikTok video who supposedly provided everything. Karen deleted the post within an hour. Week 3. Allison started her senior year taking the bus. The same girl who used to post Instagram stories from her car was now walking to the bus stop at 6:30 a.m. Her friends started asking questions she couldn't answer. The social media attention died down, but the damage at school was permanent. Kids started calling her TikTok as a joke. Her cheerleading coach had to have a conversation with her about representing the team appropriately online. Meanwhile, I'm driving my brand new F-150 that I bought with her college savings. Fully loaded, leather seats, the works. Every time I pulled up to pick her up for our mandatory weekends, she'd stare at it like it was a slap in the face. That truck cost more than my college fund, didn't it? Nope. I also put money into retirement and fixed my roof. Turns out investing in yourself feels pretty good. So you really spent all my college money? It was my money that I was saving for you. Past tense. She'd just stare at it, probably doing the math on what her mouth had cost her. Month 2. Allison got a job at Target. 20 hours a week at $12 an hour. After taxes, she was bringing home maybe $190 a week. 50 of that went to me for the car payment, leaving her with $140 for gas, insurance copay, and whatever teenage bullshit she wanted. The first weekend she came to my place, she was different, quieter. She sat on my couch and actually watched a movie with me instead of being glued to her phone. This sucks, Dad. What sucks? Working all the time and having no money. I never realized how expensive everything is. Now you know what providing actually looks like. Feels different when it's your money, doesn't it? I didn't rub it in. Just nodded and kept watching the movie. Week 6, she missed a car payment. I called her immediately. Allison, where's my $50? Dad, I had to buy new work shoes, and gas was more expensive this week. We had a deal. Can I just pay you extra next week? Nah, the deal is a deal. I meant it. The deal was $50 every week, no exceptions. She scrambled and borrowed money from Karen to make the payment 2 days late. I still counted it as a missed payment. Month 3. Karen and Allison had to move out of the McMansion. Turns out Brad had been subletting from someone who was also behind on rent. It was a whole house of cards that came crashing down. They moved into a 2-bedroom apartment in a sketchy part of town. Allison went from living in a 4,000 square foot house with a pool to sharing a bathroom with her mom. Brad resurfaced briefly to get his stuff, but he and Karen were done. She filed for divorce in November. Apparently, she found out he'd been using her credit cards to cover his expenses and had maxed out everything. Her credit was destroyed. The final twist? Brad had been cheating on Karen with his ex-wife the whole time, using Karen's money to wine and dine another woman while playing stepdad to Allison. When Karen found out, she threw his shit on the lawn in garbage bags. Allison asked me about it during one of our weekends. Mom's really stressed about money. Yeah, well, turns out Brad wasn't the guy you thought he was. I feel bad for her. Feel bad for yourself, Allison. She didn't have a comeback for that. 4 months in, something shifted around Christmas. Allison had been keeping up with her car payments religiously after that first missed one. She'd also been showing up to our weekends without attitude, actually engaging in conversations. Christmas morning, she gave me a present, a coffee mug that said, "World's Hardest Working Dad," with a note inside. Dad, I know I screwed up bad. I know you probably hate me right now, but I want you to know I'm starting to understand what you did for me all these years. I'm sorry it took me this long to see it. I'm not gonna lie, that hit me right in the gut. But I wasn't going soft yet. Actions, Allison, not words. I know. I'm trying to show you. Yeah, keep trying. March rolls around, and she had paid me back about $1,300 of the car loan. She'd also kept every weekend commitment, even when her friends had parties or events. One Saturday, we're working in my garage. I was teaching her basic car maintenance, something we used to do when she was little. Dad, can I ask you something? Shoot. Why didn't you just let me learn this lesson without taking away the college money? I stopped what I was doing and looked at her. Because words don't mean shit, Allison. You needed to understand that your actions have real consequences. But my future? You publicly humiliated me. You needed to feel what that choice actually cost. She was quiet for a while, then. Do you think, if I keep paying you back and keep coming here, do you think we can fix this? We're already fixing it. The question is whether you're doing it because you want your old life back, or because you actually understand what you lost. I think I'm starting to understand what I lost. Good. Keep understanding. Month 8. Present day. Allison's been working her ass off for 8 months now. She's paid me back almost $2,000 on the car. More importantly, our relationship actually feels real again. She doesn't come to my place because she has to anymore. She comes because she wants to. Last weekend, she brought me her first semester college acceptance letters. Community college, but she's paying for it herself through a combination of grants, loans, and her target money. I'm not asking you to pay for anything, Dad. I just wanted you to see that I'm serious about fixing my life. I'm proud of you for doing it yourself. Maybe sophomore year. If I prove I can handle this, we could talk about you helping again. I looked at my daughter. Really looked at her. The spoiled kid who made that TikTok video was gone. This kid in front of me had calluses on her hands from work, bags under her eyes from studying after long shifts, and a humility I hadn't seen since she was little. We'll see, kiddo. Keep proving it. I will. I promise. Promises don't mean anything. Actions do. Then watch my actions. She smiled, the real one I remembered from when she was 7 years old and proud of helping Dad fix something in the garage. As for Karen and Brad, Karen's working 2 jobs now, living in that shitty apartment, dealing with ruined credit and a messy divorce. Brad completely disappeared. Last I heard, he was living with his parents in another state, selling used cars or some shit. Allison made mistakes by choice. Now she's learning what all of those choices actually cost. And slowly, very slowly, she's earning her way back into being my daughter.